Hello, and welcome back to another edition of Life After Kids with Dr. Brooke and Dr. Lynne. I'm Dr. Brooke.
And I'm Dr. Lynne.
And today we are talking about morning routines.
Yes, big topic. Lots to break down there, for sure.
Let's keep it simple.
We're going to keep it simple. We're going to keep it high level. But I think the biggest thing to talk about is why. When I first heard about having a morning routine, gosh, it has to be about 20 years ago.
Has it been that long for you?
It has. This isn't something new. Obviously, many people talk about this as a strategy, but I think that what we have done is we've taken it and boiled it down to something that will work for an individual and specifically work for a woman or a busy mom.
Yep, I agree.
So why do you do what you do every morning to start your day?
Well, for me specifically, once again, I mentioned this in earlier videos, I struggle with some emotional things, anxiety and things of that nature. And it doesn't overwhelm me, but I know it's a part of my makeup and I know it's something that I have to stay on top of so it doesn't take me to bad places, I'll say. So that's the biggest reason why I focus on my morning routine, because I know when I'm in that space and when I start my day that way, the rest of the day is going to go better. So in my mind, I just kind of keep the mantra, how I start my day is how I end my day and how I do my day. Yeah. That's like, I should actually coin that phrase. Yes. but it's true. Like that for me, I know if I can give myself the time in the morning to be with myself and to give myself a little bit of self-care and start on the right foot, it's going to make the rest of the day so much better for me.
I think it's kind of like if you don't take on the day takes you on. And I remember a story years ago with a mentor doctor of mine who had 5 or 6 kids, and he and his wife would purposefully get up a half hour before their kids woke up. And he said the days that they did that, they got a jump on the kids. Or, the opposite scenario would be on the weekends, they would sleep in, and that would be when they would come out and their kids were hanging off the cupboards and there's cereal everywhere. And it's the difference between them getting a jump start on the day or the day jump starting them.
Right. That's another good point that that others have said in different ways, is that are you going to take control of your day or is your day going to take control of you? And so that's the biggest thing. I think that what the two of us in talking through this, what you ought to know the most is that it doesn't have to be the same for every woman. We're all different. And that's good. We should celebrate that and always figure out what works best for me or you. Like the way I do things is not the way you do things. And that's okay because it works for me and my makeup, and what you do works for you.
Yes. That was a big realization for me.
Yeah.
Simple, but huge.
Right.
In that my day is not going to look the same as far as my morning routine every day. And once I let go of that, it has to look this way because this is who I read about said it should look this way. Once I let go of all of that and I made it mine, it is something that works for me. And we're going to teach you how to do that. But
yeah. And we have a great
resource
guide, that will help you through some of that and giving you a better start to your day. But I think for me, so the biggest difference is for me, I need structure. I keep my morning routine the same. And for me, my morning routine is long. So I make sure that I have that time etched into the start of my day to give myself really like a good 45 minutes to an hour. And I don't say that to overwhelm you because Lynn doesn't do it that way.
Yeah, I rebel against the structure. I rebel against the sameness of every day. In fact, if I begin to do that, it just feels like I'm just going through the motions on about day 3 or 4. And so for me, I do need to change it regularly.
Right. And I would say you probably don't spend as much time, or at least that much time in one chunk of a segment.
No,
because when I talk to you, you do a piece here, then you'll go do something.
Tricks
and
around that.
Yeah.
And so, it's all in the PDF.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is that you don't, it doesn't have to be like it's this hour in the morning first thing. You can work it in through the first part of your day very easily and have flexibility with it based on what your schedule like, right? So it can look different for everyone's schedule.
I think it's just most important too to talk about fake it till you make it a little bit. We all know that adage, because when I have been in those blah days or you're in a rut, or you're not really sure who you are or where you're at in the world for that matter, it can be really hard to wake up and think, okay, I'm going to do this really amazing self-care for me right now. But what I have found is that if you just put yourself in the situation of one foot in front of the other, and you pick one thing, two things, or in our recommendation, up to three things, correct? Then very soon that energy builds on itself and that momentum carries through from day to day. And that has been, for me, a way to pull myself out of that darker hole or that blah place.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be a full hour. And it doesn't have to be a lot of things. It can be 3 things, quick things, maybe even just 5 minutes. It's consistency and just doing it. And then a lot of times once you get into it, so you do 3 things for 5 minutes and you start to see the difference, then you're going to go, okay, how can I up level my game a little bit? So why don't we just give them, before we sign off here, let's just talk, like, maybe what's your one thing that you really love in the morning that's part of your routine?
My one thing would be, so give me a second to think on that.
Do you want me to go?
Because there's so many, and I'm like, it's picking like your favorite children. You're not supposed to pick favorites.
I didn't give you a chance to even think that through.
That's okay.
It's on my mind. Do you want me to go?
Absolutely.
So I think I don't know if it's my favorite, but I think it has the biggest impact for me because I also struggle with sleep, staying asleep and different things that we can get into at another date. But what I found is awesome for me, as soon as I get up, I get out of bed, I put on some clothes, brush my teeth, I take my 2 dogs, I don't care what the weather's like, and I go outside. And I'm not out there for long, but I go outside, I let the sunlight hit directly into my eyes with no sunglasses, and I do a couple of stretches. It might be 2 to 3 minutes max. I do some overhead things, I do some side bends, I do some twists just to get my body awake. And it does a couple of things. I get the direct sunlight in my eyes, which is key. So that lets my body know, like, time to start making cortisol, your day is starting, it's time to be awake. It sets your circadian rhythm. It also gets my body moving, right? It gets my blood flowing, I'm moving around. But thirdly, and importantly for me, my dogs love it because I'm outside with them, they're getting a little stroll and run through the yard, I'm doing it. It's like, I hit so many things at once because they had to go out anyway.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. If you can work something in that you need to do on a task that you're already gonna do, it makes it easier, and it makes it like you're going to continue to do it, because guess what? My dogs have to go outside. They got to pee every morning. Yeah. So that's probably my best. It just, even if I only got to that, it would make a difference for me.
I love that layering. That's such a great tip.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, and I would say I've got so many of them. And some of them include that layering too, and specifically how you can get your kids involved. So we'll save that for the PDF, but I would say that a lot of people talk about being grateful, right? And practicing gratitude and saying gratitudes, picking 3 things. I'm so grateful for my husband for how he helped me yesterday. I'm so grateful for this beautiful house that I live in, this roof over my head. But beyond that, I am sure to be in a quiet place when I say those things that I'm grateful for, and I create that feeling of gratitude. So when somebody does something for you that really just touches your heart and you're so grateful, it's a physiological, hormonal almost feeling in your stomach. And I have just set my mind on creating that feeling, making sure that I allow space for that feeling to come in. And it's that change that I believe, and we know that research will show, it changes your blood chemistry to have some of those, oxytocin, those good feeling hormones just kind of rush your brain and rush your body. Yeah. So that would be what I think is my favorite.
Yeah, I think you've mentioned that to me before. And the key there is too, and you've said this so many times, it's not just going through the motions of writing them down or thinking they're saying it. It's really like feeling that the feeling that attaches to that, whatever it is, your thought or what you've written down, or just creating that. It's very powerful for sure.
So follow us on social media. This week we're going to be talking a lot about that. We're going to expand on the direct sunlight. That's something I want to learn more about, and Dr. Brooke will lead us through that. But we're going to have lots of helpful tips and tricks for your morning routine and getting that, busting up that midlife crisis, busting up that place if you're in a blah place. So.
And if you haven't subscribed already but beyond following us with social media and you're interested in this topic and you're interested in gaining more energy and motivation for your day, subscribe and we'll send you our free guide. It really is fabulous. You'll love it. So anyway, we look forward to seeing you our next episode next week.
See you soon.
Have a good one.